Hey everyone, Fiverr International has been one of the more interesting stocks I've been following in recent years. Of course, I've placed Fiverr International on my list of top stocks to buy in 2024, and it's not performing as well as I thought it would so far to begin the year. Still, in this video, I wanted to highlight where I think Fiverr's stock price could be by the end of this year. So I'm going to look at the company, its risks. Of course, being an Israeli-based company, there are additional risks right now. I'll look at its valuation. I'll look at its next 2-year forecast, and then I'll highlight a stock price prediction. So let's jump in. Let's take a look at this interesting growth stock.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So one of the numbers I'm going to need for Fiverr is the price. Right now it's trading at $28.69, I'm sorry. And you could see it's down meaningfully from the highs of around $300 per share in early 2021. Of course, I wasn't recommending the stock back here when it was extremely overvalued. I began recommending Fiverr stock around here when the stock price had come down significantly off the high. Still, it's been relatively flat and underperforming throughout the time I've been recommending Fiverr International stock as a buy. So this is one of the things I will need. Let's look at some more numbers I will need to make this stock price prediction. The next thing I'm going to use is its forward price to earnings ratio. As of this recording, Fiverr International is trading at a forward PE of 10.07, which is relatively cheap for a company with this type of growth profile, with this type of growth prospects, earnings growth, revenue growth, profit expansion, margin expansion, etc., etc. It's cheap, trading at a forward PE of just 10. Of course, there's extra risks now associated with the stock following the unrest in Israel and that region. Of course, Fiverr is an Israeli-based company, so there's always elevated risks when there's geopolitical concerns. That's understandable, and you can see that dip following the October attacks. The stock price valuation dipped from a little over a forward PE of around 13 down to being a forward PE of around 9, and it's rebounded a little bit lately and it's trading at a forward PE of 10. All right, so some more numbers I'm going to need is Fiverr's earnings per share forecast for 2025. Because I'm making the prediction for 2024 using the forward price to earnings ratio, I need the earnings per share estimate for 2025 to make the prediction for 2024. And according to Wall Street analysts that are following Fiverr stock, they think it's going to bring in $2.80 in earnings per share in 2025. That's going to be up from $2.18 per share in 2024, which was up from $1.88 per share in 2023. That's what I talk about when I say the company's growing profitability very nicely, and yet it's trading as if it's not a growth stock. There's value to be gained there when you're buying a stock trading like a value stock when it's growing revenue and profitability as quickly as Fiverr is. In fact, this is the revenue expectation. It's expected to grow from 362 million to 408 million and then up to 473 million in 2025. So both top and bottom line growth is expected for Fiverr International over the next 2 years. All right, so now that we've gotten the numbers we need to make our stock price prediction, let's go ahead and plug them in. And let me make this a little larger. So the $2.80 earnings per share for 2025. Remember, I got that from the Wall Street analysts that are following Fiverr stock. And then the forward PE of 10 is the current valuation is trading at 10.07. I rounded it down to 10. So if its earnings per share stays at $2.80 expected for 2025 and the forward PE stays the same at 10, its stock price could be $28 by the end of the year, by the end of 2024. And if you're following closely, you would have noticed that that's right around where the stock is trading at today, $28.69. So that would actually be a decrease of 70 cents per share which I don't think Fiverr stock investors would be happy with. And this is a scenario which I don't think is very likely. I don't think is very probable unless the situation in Israel worsens or stays volatile and doesn't resolve, then perhaps the valuation could remain muted. However, I see that as being unlikely. More likely, I see the forward PE rising, and I've conducted several scenarios to see the different levels of increase. So if the forward PE rises to 12, then the stock price could increase to $33.60 per share, which would be up about $4, $5 from where it's at right now. If the PE forward was to increase to 14, then the stock price could rise to $39 per share, which would be a very nice $10 increase from where it's trading at today. And finally, if the forward PE rises to 16, then the stock price could rise to $44.80 per share. In 3 out of the 4 scenarios I've created here, the stock price is rising, and that's pretty much the trend I expect for Fiverr. My base case is that the stock price increases this year and next year, unless, of course, the stock price increases by so much this year that I then update my prediction for 2025. But if the stock price grows modestly this year, I expect it will grow again next year because of the excellent business prospects, right? Earnings per share expected to grow meaningfully over the next 2 years. And the business is doing well. I could show you revenue growth longer term from 2019 to the most recent update. You can see that nice upward trend. You can see operating profit margin rising, right, from negative 45% all the way up to negative 4.45%. Still negative, but I don't mind negative profit margin so long as the company's demonstrating progress towards profitability, which Fiverr is definitely doing. And then cash flow from operations to sales increasing as well from negative 70% all the way up to 18.48%. So all the metrics moving up and to the right, the fundamental metrics, the cash flow, profit, revenue, all the things that I care deeply about when making an investment are all moving in the right direction for Fiverr. And then the underlying business model is one that I really like. I like the platform business model. Fiverr brings together entrepreneurs and folks looking to offer their services, and it brings them together. Fiverr makes it revenue from every time there's a transaction. Every time a business hires someone for a gig, Fiverr makes money on that transaction. So I like that asset-like business model, as you've heard me say plenty of times before if you've been around my channel. So all of these things, all of these characteristics I really like. And of course, I really like the cheap valuation forward PE of just 10. So all that being considered, where do I think the forward PE ends up by the end of the year? I think it ends up somewhere around 13. And I think Fiverr's stock price ends up somewhere around $34 per share to $36 per share by the end of 2024. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.